Kitten's home was filled with the constant sound of arguments. His mother and father, once loving, now couldn't go a night without fighting. What his mother didn't know was that his father had a dark secret, an affair with his secretary. Late at night, Kitten would overhear his father whispering on the phone, plotting something sinister. One evening, his mother received a shocking call from the secretary, claiming Kitten's father had been in a terrible accident and was admitted to the hospital. Without hesitation, Kitten's mother rushed him into the car and sped toward the hospital, unaware of the deadly trap they were walking into. As they drove, panic set in when Kitten's mother realized the brakes weren't working. The car sped uncontrollably down the road, the engine roaring as her eyes widened in horror. Her heart raced as she realized this wasn't just an accident. His husband had planned everything. Kitten clung to his seat, terrified as they hurtled toward disaster. With no way to stop, Kitten's mom looked at him with tears in her eyes, realizing she can't save their lives as the brakes were completely failed. Suddenly, the car uncontrollably crashed into the barrier and flipped on the road. Flames erupted from the wreckage. Luckily, Kitten was thrown out from the car, dazed and in pain. He watched helplessly as the car was engulfed in flames. Through the smoke, Kitten's eyes caught a glimpse of another car in the distance, his father and the secretary laughing. The truth hit him like a blow. This was all they're doing. His mother was trapped inside the burning car, and Kitten was powerless to save her. As the flames grew, Kitten's world faded to black. Hours later, he awoke in a hospital bed, battered but alive. His mother, however, was gone. The grief and anger inside him were overwhelming. But one thing was clear, his father had won this round. But as Kitten lay there, vowing never to forget, he knew one day he would make his father pay. As Kitten lay in his hospital bed, the fire of revenge smoldered within him. Just then, his father entered, fake tears streaming down his face. His father had no idea that Kitten knew the dark truth, that he and his secretary had planned Kitten's mom's murder. Kitten, however, kept his rage hidden, pretending to suffer from memory loss. His blood boiled as he noticed the secretary lurking behind his father, but he knew he had to play this smart. After his discharge, Kitten returned home with his father, only to find memories of his mom haunting every corner. Days passed. His father's smug looks and the secretary's constant visits only made things worse. They walked around as if nothing had happened, and Kitten watched silently, burning with fury, but knowing he had to play his cards carefully. He needed help, someone he could trust. One morning, he remembered someone who could help. Kitten reached out to one of his mother's oldest friends, Officer Greyfur, a retired detective who had always been like family. Kitten shared the truth of his mom's death, that how his dad and secretary plotted his mom's murder. Mr. Greyfur's eyes filled with tears. He promised Kitten he'd bring justice for his mother. He advised, "We need solid proof to put your father and his secretary behind bars." Greyfur sprang into action, gathering call records that showed late-night conversations between Kitten's dad and the secretary. He even found CCTV footage near the accident site, capturing Kitten's father and the secretary watching the crash from their car. Meanwhile, Kitten discovered his mom's diary, filled with daily events. She had written about her husband's affair with the secretary and the arguments that had torn the family apart. Each page added weight to the case they were building. With these pieces of evidence, Greyfur and Kitten went to the police, handing over everything they'd gathered. The case moved quickly. Kitten's father and his secretary were soon arrested. In court, with irrefutable evidence, the judge sentenced Kitten's father and the secretary to life in prison. Kitten felt a weight lift from his heart. Justice had been served, and his mother's memory could finally rest in peace.